It's Enemy Sidelines presented by Microsoft. My guest this week, Nathan Zegura. He's with the Cleveland Browns broadcasting department. He hosts Brown Daily. Nathan, always a pleasure to talk to you. It seems like we've been chatting a lot in the last few years, but week one in the books, the Browns coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs, but I would imagine a lot to be positive about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also great to be with you, and congrats to you on your week one win there with the Houston Texans. Yeah, look, we played a great game, and for 3 quarters went into Arrowhead Stadium against the class of our conference, the 2-time defending AFC champions, and we're dominating the game. And the Browns would be the first to tell you they let it get away. You had a fumble, you had a muff on a punt snap. And then another interception late. So, 3 turnovers at Arrowhead against the Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill when they make no turnovers, not a recipe for success ultimately. But the fact that we had 2 turnovers on the road and still had the ball back with 2 minutes and a chance to win, that's good. 22-10 in the first half. The ground game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they had 3 touchdowns combined on the ground. We rushed for 4 on the day, 6 yards a carry. Baker was 21-28 for over 300 yards passing. So yes, very efficient on offense, and our defense, I thought all in all did a very good job against an elite offense, obviously, of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now you've got Kevin Stefanski coming off of his 2020 AP Coach of the Year award. Here he is in year 2. I know the expectations are really high for him heading into year 2 with the Browns and everything he was able to accomplish in his first year. But looking at him now, I know it's only been 1 week, but what did you see different from him? Have you seen a difference in play calling, a difference in just how he handles the team, or is it really the same Stefanski that you saw last year?
The guy is the same every day. And I think that's why the players like him. And he's the same year 1 to year 2. He just is who he is. And we joke on Cleveland Browns Daily all the time that, he's got the 4 Ps. He's prepared. He's got a plan. He's got a process to implement the plan, and he's got poise. And as one of my favorite all-time Browns, now Houston Texan Money Mitch would say, the man has no fluster. So he is who he is. We were aggressive, went for it on 4th down on our first drive and our second drive down in the red zone. So he's always been aggressive. He will take opportunities when they're presented. He's very heady, the way he handled even the end of the first half. So very typical Kevin Stefanski performance in week 1. It's just, Nick Chubb doesn't fumble. And he did. I've been with the Browns. This is my 9th season with the Browns. I've never seen the punter just drop the snap back to him. It happened. So it was one of those kind of fluke games, but from Stefanski's standpoint, this coaching staff, Kevin Stefanski on the offensive side, you got Alex Van Pelt, Chad O'Shea, Bill Callahan, Stump Mitchell, Drew Petzing. It's a great staff, and to see that collaboration was fun. Our offense, it was humming. We're a talented team, but we've got to take care of our business and execute. And if we do that, I think this is going to be a very fun season.
Well, as I was watching Monday Night Football, I saw another commercial from Baker Mayfield, and it was a new one because he's still putting out commercials. So
oh, yes.
Here he is. In Sunday's performance, looked really good. 21 for 28, 321 yards, no interceptions, or 1 interception late in the game.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him growth-wise? It seems like he was really getting that offense moving. He did lead 3 touchdown drives in the first 3 drives of the game, but where have you seen him grow? Where does he still need to improve?
Yeah, the Browns actually had 5 drives in the game with more than 75 net yards on offense. Incredibly efficient. And for Baker, this is the first time in his career he's had the same offensive system 2 years in a row. First time in his career. And so for Baker Mayfield to kind of have that continuity, same staff, same principal players, really. I mean, we're running it back, although the rookie Anthony Schwartz had a very impressive debut last week, but he's just in command. He's comfortable, and it's allowed him to be advanced. And, for him, the light bulb really went on as he got comfortable in the system last year. Over the second half of the year, he had 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he played very efficient football, 75% completions, as you mentioned in week 1. It's just that now he's just allowing the game to dictate where the football goes. The play call will kind of tell him where it goes, but then the defensive call is going to tell him where the ball goes. And so he's not forcing it anywhere. He's just reading and reacting, and he's very accurate with the football. He's got a very strong arm. He looks great. I think he's poised for a tremendous season. And, the stats would show no touchdowns and the 1 interception, the interception coming obviously on the Browns' last offensive play when he's trying to throw it away and got hit as he did so. And it kind of fluttered to the sideline and the Chiefs got it. But, he easily could have had touchdowns. We ended up just getting down to the goal line and running it in on a couple where bombs got tackled close. So Baker's playing very well, and I think it bodes very well for the Browns season.
Yeah, that rushing attack is strong. I mean, Texans fans certainly remember last year what Nick Chubb was able to do with them. So, he got a 3-year extension this year in camp. How did the Browns balance that rushing attack between Chubb and Kareem Hunt now that that Chubb's got that contract extension.
Yeah, it's the same philosophy as last year. You know, they will rotate at times, but Nick Chubb is the main man. Make no mistake about it. Now, Chubb and Hunt last year, if you include the playoffs, are only the fourth running back tandem in NFL history to both have more than 1,200 total yards and 12 touchdowns in the same season in the same backfield. So it's a dynamic duo. It's the best in the NFL. And I don't think when I'm saying that as a Browns person, I think everybody would agree that's the best 1-2 punch in the National Football League. Chubb is still the main man, but they will work Kareem Hunt in on third downs. They'll work Kareem Hunt in on some drives. You know, Kareem gets the ball. As I said, both were very strong, but it was Chubb leading the carries in that game, as it will be the case all season long. He's the main guy. He rushed for 2 touchdowns in this one. Kareem rushed for a touchdown of his own. It's a good tandem, and it's a wonderful luxury to have. And, you know, one of the things you mentioned, Kevin Stefanski earlier, he's already thinking of how do I change things because we have this extra game. You know, that's 70 extra offensive snaps. That's how many extra carries for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. How do we kind of back that out and spread that out over the course of a season, as opposed to just treating it like we're doing everything the same for 16 games. So there's a lot of rotation there, and it's a nice luxury because I'll tell you, defenses, they don't like it when Chubb's been beating them up and they're like, oh, good, he's finally tired. And then here comes Kareem Hunt, who, you know, has led the league in rushing in his own right. And he comes in fresh and he runs with a lot of anger and passion. And so it's a great 1-2 punch to have.
All right. That Browns defense is scary with Myles Garrett and now Jadeveon Clowney on the opposite side. I know he was sick and he missed a lot of camp, but what do you expect out of that Browns front with those two?
You know, they generated pressure, according to Pro Football Focus, on 44% of the dropbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs in week 1, which is an astronomical number. Pat Mahomes was just unbelievable under pressure in that game. He had a quarterback rating of 120 when he was pressured, which is not typical for him or any quarterback. So they can generate pressure. It's Myles, it's Clowney on the outside, inside Malik Jackson, who has been a Pro Bowler, been a Super Bowl champion. And then we found Malik McDowell, who's a very interesting story. So he was a second-round pick in 2017 of the Seahawks, never played a game there, was out of the league. He ended up in jail for a year. Knew he wanted to come back and try to play football. The Browns gave him an opportunity. He started. He was our highest graded defensive player against Pro Football Focus. You know, in 2017, if you talk to the draft pundits, he was a top 5 talent, but obviously there were issues there. Well, he seems to have those figured out. That front is very, very good. And then in some of the nickel situations, we'll bring in Tack McKinley, who was a former first rounder, a good pass rusher for the Atlanta Falcons. And those three, along with one of the Maliks, just get after it. And I'm excited to see what this rush can do, especially at home in front of our fans, where it's going to be really loud at the right times this game, as opposed to Arrowhead, which was really loud, but not really when the Browns wanted it.
All right. Well, the Texans have so many former Browns on this roster. You mentioned a few earlier. Pharaoh Brown was obviously with the Texans last year, scored a touchdown up there in Cleveland. And now Tyrod Taylor. So tell me a little bit about some of these familiar faces, especially Taylor, you know, what you remember from covering him. I know he was just with the Browns a short time, but it seems like he's left a lasting impact wherever he's gone.
Yeah, total professional. Tyrod Taylor is a total professional, a leader, unselfish. You know, he was here the year that we drafted Baker #1 overall. And, you know, he started and then Baker took over, and the rest, as they say, is history, but was totally a class act the entire time he was here. Nice guy, very good dresser. I remember that, very sharp dressed man, but a good guy. Pharaoh's a great story. You know, he was with us for a while and actually made the initial roster last year and then was released, went down the Texans. He got to score that touch. Since we won the game, I can be very happy for him that he scored the touchdown. But you've got two of my all-time favorite Browns, all-time favorite, top human beings, interviews, people, period. Christian Kirksey, who had a nice interception in week 1. I was pumped for him, and Money Mitch. Those guys are, if I'm putting a Mount Rushmore of the people that I've gotten to interact with in my time at the Cleveland Browns, they're both on it without question. I mean, just great, great people. And I don't know if you had the chance to interview Money Mitch, but what an absolute treasure of a human being.
Well, Texans are certainly hoping they can do a lot on defense this year for them. So pumped to have them, pumped to have you once again, Nathan. Looking forward to the game on Sunday. Thanks so much for the time.
Oh, my pleasure. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and all my old friends there on the Houston Texans when you guys travel up to Cleveland on Sunday.